Listen,
Never in my life associated the word boring with baseball.
We know what's up.
Me? Yeah. Famous? Yeah.
And I'm like giddy over there smiling like, we're about to win this shit.
Did everyone give you crap? Give me a good host story.
I'm not picking it up.
We both love the game.
we talk about it every day.
Can't get enough baseball.
Having some popcorn, you're fooling around your phone.
I'd have to wait in line for 3 hours.
Hang on, because it's about to be a wild ride.
All right, let's talk some baseball. There's something. Hold on. No. Hold on, Julian. There's something I forgot. Hold on. Oh, yeah. I remember now. There's nobody I'd rather be talking to than Julian McWilliams. CBS Sports.
Oh, that makes me smile.
Does it? It makes your day so much better.
It does.
Great.
It's awesome. You know what? Because it just, Rob, I'm just a man of the people.
You are a man, but now you're a man of many people. Before you were a man of like a specific region. Now you're a man of the entire North America. So congratulations. By the way, I wanted to, as the day that we tape this, the year of our, the date is September 21st, year of our Lord, 2025. I wanted to call Charlie Morton and just say that to him. Say, Charlie, there's nobody I'd rather be talking to than you. You don't even have to talk to me, but I just want to bring a smile to your face.
Yeah.
Charlie Morton got DFA'd, and I put up the clip of him, Julian, the last conversation.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my cap right.
Yeah, it looks good. It's
you
going out to sea? What are you
fall coming, baby. This is my signature. Go ahead.
It is your signature. Like your brand has never been hotter. Or you're wearing a winter hat. I pulled after the news came down that Charlie Morton got DFA'd. I pulled up a clip of our last conversation, and I say this, like in terms of power ranking and say who's the best guest in the podcast and everything else. I cannot fathom how good he is explaining stuff and how insightful he is. Like, forget about baseball players. I was listening to this clip about when you fail, dealing with failure. Holy mackerel. Anyway, I just want to start this by doing an homage.
And for me, I have a little Charlie Morton story.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I've said it before to you, Rob. It was 2018 was my first year covering baseball, and it was when the spin rate revolution was like a part of baseball. It just was sort of making its way. Well, it made its way, but it was we started hearing it more. And I don't know if it was because of Spider Tact or whatever, but I went up to Charlie Morton in the Houston clubhouse, and I was like, "Hey, can you explain spin rate to me?" And he couldn't really explain it, but he was sitting there pondering how to explain. He genuinely wanted to explain it to me. And he's like, hold on, let me go ask Justin and bring Justin over here to answer this question. He says, because he might be better. Hold on, Justin. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. He's like, no. We're going to figure this out. And this was in the middle of Clubhouse. I have never met somebody like him, probably other than Rich Hill, right?
Yeah.
On the genuine care for humans type of thing. They just sort of have so many parallels to me. And if this is the end, look at that career. He had an awesome career. And I wish that was a player I could have covered, because those are the players that you kind of fall in love with and sort of have those make it easy to come to the ballpark.
But you know what? It's a good story and a good point.
Yeah.
You're talking about I wish I covered him. I don't know. I don't know if I do. Because the problem is that you basically want to talk to him every day, right?
Yeah.
And that's not possible, and that wears a guy out. We have our go-to guys, right, all the time, but there's some days you walk in and they're sitting there by themselves, and they're, oh man, this will be so easy. But I'm like, I just talked to him yesterday. You can't wear him out. So,
No.
but the Charlie Morton thing, when you talk about that, one of the things, and you can go back and listen to any podcast that we
You
did.
know me from a can of paint, Rob.
What?
That was the first time I ever walked up to him and said anything because I mean, I was young. I was kind of intimidated. These were the World Series champs the year before, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to figure. I'm doing a story and like kind of like this low voice, and he's just like, like, and he's really sitting there, and that's sort of like. I don't know. It made me a little bit easier to go into places and have conversations because I was probably what 2, 3 weeks in, and the A's were going to play them. I'm like, geez, these guys just won a championship. I don't necessarily know what I'm doing. I'm trying to impress my boss with like talk about spin rate.
Let me ask you this. So when you ask him the question and there's this pause, is there that 5 seconds, 10 seconds of, oh, shoot, he's pissed, like he doesn't like the question? Because I've done that with him where you ask the question and then there's this silence. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, man, he doesn't want to answer the question, but he's thinking about it.
He's thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking. And then when he didn't have the answer, he was like, he didn't make up any BS. He was just like, I'm going to point you in a direction of somebody I think might be able to help you. Hey, Justin, you Cy Young winner, come over here. I'm like, oh. Thank you. I don't want to talk to him. I'm okay. It's not that deep. No, it's fine.
All right. So there's the homage to Charlie Morton. We are going to get into the meat and potatoes of this. Is I know that you're offended by some of these pennant race contenders, and you also probably have some that you're enamored with. Spoiler alert: the team that you picked to win it all is not eligible. The Atlanta Braves. They're not going to make it.
I know.
I don't think they're going to make it. It's a hunch. It's a hunch.
I know. It's a tough scene. I'll tell you what, though, Matt Olson, somebody give me my money. I said about 3 years ago, that's the best first baseman in baseball, and I think he's living up to that.
Well, what do you have? I looked the other day because I was looking up how few home runs the Red Sox had, and as of a few days ago, like 3 days ago, they had 8 for the month, and Olson had 6.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Like a Olson heater is like those. I'm trying to think of one, like kind of like those Raffy heaters we used to, or like kind of like a Mookie heater. Oh my gosh, this guy can't get out.
Yeah,
but it's like the crazy power. They're unbelievable.
It's like it went spring training. That one spring training here was insane.
Oh, anyway, we hit the ball, Pavetta.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Oh, we hit the chop tank, whatever that thing.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, he's good. All right, but before we get to that, something that's on my mind is that it kind of has to do with Charlie Morton. Julian, I was looking back. We did podcasts probably around the trade deadline. We scream and yell about the trade deadline. Here. Can we write this down, please? Can you remember this? Can you put this in the bottle and send it to me and open it up in July of next year when we start talking about trading for starting pitchers?
Oh, put it in the Tito's bottle.
Put it at the bottom of a Tito's and soda.
All right. What do you want me to say? Go ahead.
Say,
here.
Note to self.
Note to self.
Don't obsess over getting starting pitching at the trade deadline because usually they stink.
Getting starting pitching at I feel like I'm taking.
Wow, what were you writing in cursive?
Yeah, trade deadline because
they usually stink.
They usually stink. Do you want me to get the Tito's bottle?
Yeah, get the Tito's.
I'll be right back.
All right. Put it in the bottle.
I'm going to get the Tito's bottle.
All right. So the reason that I'm saying this, as I'm killing time, why Julian gets the Tito's bottle, although I got to imagine that the Tito's bottle probably isn't that far from his work desk. And also, spoiler, we're going to talk about the postseason and the Reds. If the Reds make the postseason, which right now, I believe as we sit here, as we speak, they're in the postseason. If Tito's Vodka did not jump aboard the Cincinnati Reds bandwagon, then what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? The Tito Francona, Tito's Vodka sponsorship, let it be said, let it be done.
All right.
Here it comes. Here comes the earthquake.
Boom.
Oh, there it is. All right. So
Tito's
there's
gone.
did you have to empty it? Did you
No.
empty it? Okay. There it is.
I emptied it.
All right. There's my note to myself for next July. You've never put a note in a bottle before.
There we go. Boom.
There it is.
Boom.
All right.
Nothing left.
All right. Thank you for emptying that so we could put the note in. I don't could you hear what I said about the Tito sponsorship?
No, what'd you say?
I said with the Reds, if the Reds make the postseason, if Tito's Vodka and Tito Francona don't link up for a sponsorship, someone's not trying.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So, anyway, my point is, Julian, is that we're sitting here, the most important week of the season, the last week of the regular season, and I'm looking at all the starting pitchers who were traded at trade deadline. And then I'm looking at the guys who were called up who, were like plan D. And they were plan D, right?
Yep.
The Mets, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, like this. In their perfect world, they would get some of these guys at the trade deadline. They wouldn't have to rely on these guys who would never pitch in a major league game. But they are, and they're working out much better than the guys who were traded at the trade deadline. These guys who were really obsessed over mea culpa, Julian. Like, I wanted Merrill Kelly. I said Merrill Kelly, and all of a sudden Merrill Kelly is hit the wall and is not good anymore. I wanted Charlie Morton, and Charlie Morton gets DFA'd. I wanted these guys, and it's not working out. The only guy is working out, Shane Bieber. It's the only one. I was actually on him. I like Shane Bieber. Yeah. But the point is that it's amazing. Like, we obsess over this. And listen, if Joe Ryan was traded, it would be a different story. But they're never traded. The good ones are never traded, and the ones who are traded haven't done anything. Ryan Berger.
Yes, Rob, but I'll tell you this, though.
Okay.
Don't fall too much into the trap.
Okay.
Because you're sounding like as my guest on Monday afternoon calls them, stat goblins. Don't fall in, because this is what they want us to do, Rob. Merrill Kelly didn't work out. Charlie Morton didn't work out. This is why we don't make those trades. And so, you know what I have, though? I have respect for the teams that actually have put their almonds on the table.
Yes.
And tried to do something. I have respect for Chris Young. I have respect for the nerd who went to Yale in Detroit. I forget his name. I have respect for those guys, right? Because it's like you're trying to win. And yes, you're not going to maybe get the Joe Ryans, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine to get it wrong. And that's my message to everybody out there. It is fine to get it wrong, right? We have to stop living in this risk-averse baseball world. And I don't think this year should be the example. I have a lot to talk about. But
okay, all right.
First
off, you're absolutely right. And I don't want to get my thoughts twisted because I agree 100% with you. I've said this a million times that, I applaud Chris Young for getting Merrill Kelly because you know what he's trying to do? He's trying to win a World Series.
Yeah.
And I will say this. There's a good chance if a team traded for Merrill Kelly, let's say the Red Sox trade for Merrill Kelly, they're in a much better, even though he's had a bad couple starts, they're in a much better position than they were. Why? Because they were trying to run out Dustin May and it wasn't working out. So Chris Young, I applaud you. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying, Julian. And maybe, I didn't phrase it correctly, But still, I want you to keep that note in that bottle anyway.
I got it right here.
All right.
Here,
All right, there you go.
right back.
Okay. That I think that where I want to get to, the lesson to be learned here is that the amount of guys like Merrill Kelly was so thin. We keep coming back to Merrill Kelly, Shane Bieber. The amount of guys who were actually traded and were available were so thin that what I want, when I will get excited, when I will learn my lesson from that note in the bottle, is when front offices actually take it to the next level and they do trade for the Joe Ryans. They do trade for the Sandy Alcantaras. They do trade for those guys. They do trade for the Dylan Ceases of 2 years ago or Garrett Crochet last year. They do that because what's happening now, and this is why I say you can't get excited, because the valid options of guys that you can trade for who are actually traded is so thin because these guys that will help you. Because let's be honest, Joe Ryan, if a team got Joe Ryan, boom, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Then just understand, take it to the next level at the trade deadline. But this is why I want that note in the bottle, because I have no confidence that we're ever going to get to that point. I think it's going to keep going the other way, keep going the other way, keep going the other way, and we're going to end up with these, and we're going to end up with
Dustin May and Jordan Hicks.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. And this year's a good example of that. With Merrill Kelly's not Joe Ryan, but he's an established starter. Obviously, he's been in the World Championship. He was a coveted guy at the deadline. Like, it wasn't like he was some Joe Schmo out here. And this is going to be a reason for front office to say, see, this is why we don't go at the deadline. Similarly, and this is something to talk about later in the episode that I wanted to get to, but like with the amount of teams that are cluttered here for the AL race, right? It's going to be like, see, why do we have to go out and do much in the offseason? Because we might have a fighter's chance anyway to get in. All this stuff is coming back to somehow cutting salary. It's all related. It's all related. All this stuff. He can't hit lefties, right? But then you go to arbitration. Well, he can't hit lefties. It saves the team money. Like it's all these things that come into play now, where it's like matchups. They want to make everybody a platoon player, because you know what? If they have more Romy Gonzalez and Rob Refsnyder's, they can save money.
Two things.
Doing their jobs effectively. Those guys do their jobs really, really well.
Okay, three things. No, four things. I'm going to start with the fourth being you're right. That why instead of doing that, the obvious response to that is doing the Dombrowski. Like, do this. We always bring him up.
That worked out.
But we always bring him up for good reason, because he doesn't think that way. He thinks the opposite way. Is that, and John Middleton, the owner, the same thing. Hey, instead of just getting by, we have a chance to do what the ultimate goal is, and that is to win the World Series. That's it. And then when you talk about when they say, oh, here's an excuse not to get a player, and this is how we can get over on that situation at less money, or we're smarter than everybody. I'll give you an example of that. Is Alex Bregman. Like there was plenty of people both in and outside the Red Sox front office, not plenty, but some said, hey, we don't need him because we can fill in with Nolan Arenado. Well, how would that have worked out?
That terrible,
right? But we can get him a little bit cheaper, and he can do this. No, like you at some point you have to basically, whether it's a trade deadline or what you're talking about, building a team, you have to say, hey, we are going to separate ourselves from the pack, and to come back to the Phillies, come back to Dombrowski. Isn't that exactly what they did?
Yep, sure is. Sure is exactly what they did. And like you said, Rob, they go out and get what they needed, right? They got Harrison Bader, they got Yohan Duran. That was it. It didn't need to be something crazy. I know they lost Zach Wheeler for the year, and like there's probably questions about their pitch staff. But who do you trust more right now than the Phillies going into the postseason? Maybe the Dodgers, I'd say that, but like I think that's them the teams that went out and did stuff. The Padres I trust, the Dodgers I trust because they didn't really have to do much. They did all their work in the offseason. It's like, hey, at some point you guys got to go out there and produce because we invested a lot in this. We don't need to change much. And then the Phillies. Those are the three teams that I look at and saying like, hey, they did what they needed to do. I thought the Yankees did a really good job, but obviously their pitching, you can't control those things. But then again, like that doesn't give you reason to not do those things. You shouldn't like Brian Cashman shouldn't go into next year saying, well, it didn't work out at the deadline this year, so I'm not going to do anything next year. But I think that's how these teams think. They use this model of what works out, what doesn't work out, and then they apply it to their real life.
No, you know what the lesson should be, and you're absolutely right. The lesson should be isn't, well, we're not going to do anything because it wasn't worth doing. The lesson should be we should try harder to do something. We should get more uncomfortable. We should allocate more players to get the guy that that we didn't think we can get. And maybe, hey, listen, maybe that those guys, we're also at that point where the guys that we're talking about, the Joe Ryans of the world, who have multiple years of control, they just never are going to be available at the deadline. Yeah. Maybe.
Like as we speak, Homer, for the guy who the Red Sox acquired at the deadline, that is a risk-averse move. Steven Matz. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's fine. It's fine to get a Steven Matz. It's fine. Like it's fine.
It's all fine though. This is all fine. It's fine to get Dustin May. It's fine to get Jordan Hicks.
Yeah.
What's fine?
So ultimately, Julian, I'm gonna spin this forward to what we're gonna talk about in terms of the postseason. Ultimately, it's about this. Take the American League, separating yourself, and anybody who looks at the American League and isn't, if you have a semblance of a chance to get into the postseason, to make a run at the postseason, this was the year to do it more than even last year because you had the chance to separate yourself and nobody did separate themselves. Nobody did separate. We're sitting there and we're still trying to figure out who
left in this season. There's nobody in the American League. No, not even the Blue Jays right now.
I'll give you what. This, I mean, I think that the team that's probably the closest to separating itself are the Blue Jays. And what did they do? Like I thought that was the smartest trade deadline pickup of anybody. The Shane Bieber one.
Right.
And I said at the time, I'm like, you actually lucked out because the guy wasn't pitching for a month.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's no team in the American League that has clinched yet, correct?
The Blue Jays clinched the playoff.
They clinched the playoff.
Yeah, they put today. Yeah.
That's the only team in the American. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's an industry-wide problem, I believe.
Yeah.
And thank God it hasn't hit the you know what? I don't want to talk about them. The Mets, they had their kind of this is what they get too. This is what they get for just cheaping out on starting pitching and not going out and getting the guys that they needed and thinking they could go bullpen or whatever. I'm trying to tell these guys. I did SNY last week, and they're talking about piggybacking guys. Well, this is the smartest thing to do. And I'm like, guys, I've seen this before. Like, I'm a piggyback baby.
You were there for the birth of the piggyback.
The birth of the piggyback, the birth of the bullpen game. I was there, 2018. More times than not, it doesn't work because you have to do everything has to go right for it to work. But these teams consistently think, hey, we can do it. I mean, but again, these are conversations for other days.
So what that does though is that when you don't get that guy, when you don't get the guys that we're talking about, now the Mets, we got Nolan McLean, we got Brandon Sproat, we got Jonah Tong. They're our answer. Okay? Yeah. Oh, they got Conley Early, we got Kyle Harrison, got Peyton Tolley. They're our answer. Well, number one, this is why I still would take Merrill Kelly, even right now, even with he's had 2 bad starts, because you simply don't know. You have no idea what any of these guys are going to do. And another problem, Julian, is that you have no idea what they're going to do in the postseason, even if they were pitching for a year. You've only had them for a month and a half, if that. You don't know how they're going to react in a regular game. You're still trying to figure that out. You don't know how they're going to bounce back, when their dead arm is going to come, what adjustments the team is going to have. You don't know any of that. And that's the problem that you're going to run to. It should be all these young pitchers that are going to be thrown into the postseason, especially with the Mets. They should be luxury items.
100%.
But they're not.
100%. And like you've always pointed to, like Xander coming, like, okay, he comes up and he's in 2013, they put him at third base, but like, who's playing second? Pedroia. Like, who's DHing? Ortiz. Like, you're not exposing these guys, right? Who in the Mets rotation can any of those guys look to and say, okay, you know what? I feel secure in this because I know this guy is going to go out and shove. Like, where's the Max Fried in that rotation to be like, hey, you know what? I'll get game 2 or game 3 but it's fine because I know we're going to win game 1 because this guy's on the mound. Expose these guys to too many emotions too soon. It's natural human inclination. It's natural human instinct to just be like, if you fail at that, it could ruin you.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen playoffs ruin a lot of guys. Rick Ankiel, when he got thrown into that situation, and it's like sometimes it becomes too much. You have to be a special type of player to be able to deal with all those different variables and all those different pressures and not succumb to it. There's rare David Prices where he comes into a playoff series.
Well, and also that was, I mean, that's what he was doing was relieving. I mean, what he was doing is coming in and just blowing it out for an inning or two. I'll give you 2 guys who like did exactly what you're talking about, and then they took a turn for the worse, and they had to right their ship. They had to find a different avenue. It wasn't a linear thing where like, oh, you were thrown into a postseason, and now you went on your way. You were awesome. Michael Wacha in 2013 and Steven Matz in 2015.
No doubt.
And so, listen, fine. I mean, it wasn't like they didn't even have to do what we're talking about. These guys, these Mets guys are going to have to do.
No, if they even get there.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh. I mean, talk about a slap in a wake-up call if they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, okay, that brings us to teams that you're offended by and enamored with who are contending teams right now. What's the number one team that you're offended by?
Oof.
That you think if you had to power rank, we know the teams that are still viable for postseason berth. Like that's the thing right now, Julian. As we head into this last week of the regular season, there's no, God bless Kansas City, God bless Texas, all these, no, we know who has a chance.
Right. No, I would probably say the Houston Astros.
I would agree with that.
They seem to get a little bit too arrogant, I would say, and the establishment that they had and didn't do a lot, again, depending on younger guys to fill voids. And I feel like those guys are rare who come around, like the Correas, the Altuves, the Bregmans. They just happen to hit on a lot of guys. Springer coming up and immediately having an impact. And I think we looked at that model of the Houston Astros for years. That was sort of like I want to say, I mean, in terms of core guys coming up, sort of resembled the Yankees a bit. So in terms of like their core establishment of guys, I think they got a little bit too arrogant with their model and didn't do enough to put their guys in situations because it was clear from last year that Jose Altuve was declining. It was clear that Bregman was even though he didn't have necessarily have a good, his last 4 years have just been okay with them, that he was sort of the centerpiece of them. It was clear that a Correa was that guy even.
Mm.
And you saw it sort of dwindling throughout the years, and they really did nothing to really come up and say, well, this guy's gonna be good. And and again, a lot of that stuff blows up in your face. And now you have a guy like Jeremy Pena, who's a really good player, but he's not a guy that you build your franchise around.
I mean, they have the alpha of Jordan Alvarez, right?
I mean, but
But
again, he's hurt.
yeah, he's hurt. So if you take him out, you take out Hader. Framber Valdez is throwing fastballs at chest protectors. You know, they just seemed a little. They just see, and I don't disagree with you. They just seem off.
Yeah.
They seem off. Like they're hanging in. They just seem off.
Yeah. No, totally off. And again, I feel like we look at these things and we say, okay, this is the model and this works because the Houston Astros did it. You have to build through the draft. You have to build through this. You have to build through all these things. And it's like we've seen in years, Rob, like drafts are crapshoots all the time. And if that's your only model and you're saying, okay, well, we hit on Springer, we hit on Bregman, we hit on this guy, we hit on this guy. It's like that might not happen for another 20, 30 years, right? Like the Yankees have not been able to replicate that. There's a strong chance that the Houston Astros will not be able to replicate that for the next 20 to 30. That's rare.
Mm.
All those guys come up and they're good.
Yeah.
All-stars?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It typically doesn't work like that. So that's my team that I feel like they kind of shot themselves in the foot.
All right, I'll give you one. And it's not just because they're losing a crap load of games lately, but it's because when we look back at what did you do to help yourself, or were you just leaning on, your models and your early season success, and that's the Tigers.
Yeah.
The Tigers, we started with Charlie Morton, and I liked Charlie Morton initially, and he had a good run for the Tigers, but still, like I would have no problem of them getting Charlie Morton as their starting pitching acquisition. And then who do they get? They get Paddock too.
Yeah.
But if you got somebody else, so you have Scooble, you know that. Flaherty's just been okay. Mize has just been okay. But all right, if you want to go for it, if you put yourself in position to go for it, then do it. Do it. And they didn't. And because they didn't, it feels like they rested on their laurels off of the first few months of the season, and now they're paying the piper.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. I mean, listen, I get it. You have Scooble going game one, whatever game you're going, good for you. But nothing else about that team scares me.
No. And you looked at it and you're like, how are they in the spot that they're in? And granted, I think AJ Hinch is probably the best manager in baseball. But again, Rob, it's about what you're given. It's about what you're given to do something. This team right here, the Red Sox, what was Alex Cora really given at the deadline that he say, okay, this is what I'm comfortable working with? Right? I know Abreu's been down. I know Roman's down. But guess what? When it tells you, I don't care how good of a rookie is, when your offense goes to crap and your team turns to mush, if a rookie's not in the lineup, that tells me you're a flawed team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but that's the point, is that I think that everybody in this American League was a flawed team and continues to be a flawed team. And that's the amazing thing, is that we're sitting, you just said it. I mean, we had our first team clinch, the Blue Jays. Congratulations to the people in Toronto. We will both be up there soon, throwing around toonies all over the place. You know what those are, the $2 coins? And I like their team. And I've said this a million times. I like their team. One of the reasons I like them is because they actually make contact.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's a wonky thing to say, but hey, just remember that. Tell your friends at the bar when you see the Blue Jays in the World Series, why are they in the World Series? Because they make contact. I heard that somewhere.
I mean, they're the best team with runners in scoring position, right?
Yeah.
They hit for average. And Vlad is a guy that you can put him in a lineup. He doesn't strike out much. He takes his walks. Like he's a bat to ball guy, but can still hit the ball at the ballpark. George Springer's having this all of a sudden like this resurgent year. Like they hit on a lot of stuff, and I feel like they've been one of the more elite teams despite like the run differential, right? Their pitching staff hasn't necessarily been that. It's a weird group, but it's kind of like that throwback sort of group that is still like modern. Uh,
Yeah. But here's
yeah,
going to be their wild card. Their bullpen isn't that great, but they just put Barrios in the bullpen, and they got this kid Trey Savage, who as much as we talk about being very wary of putting rookies in the starting rotation, I have no problem putting rookies in the bullpen.
yeah,
Go get them for an inning. Go get them, right? So, yeah. So in the National League, I think the one is, I think we both said it. I think the Mets. The Mets are it's just demoralizing that you just don't have the most good postseason runs have the top two guys. You have top two starters. Say, get on my back. Here we go. Even last year, where relievers pitched more innings than starters. Even last year, you had people forget the Dodgers had Flaherty and Yamamoto was pitching the best that he had pitched.
yeah.
Like those were the guys. They had the two guys. The year before, Montgomery Evaldi, Gallen, Merrill Kelly.
Hmm.
And so I would ask this, okay, who's that for the Mets? And please, like Nolan McLean, I would love. He's been on the podcast. I would love to see it, but again, he should be a number 3 complimentary luxury item. Yeah,
I don't know. Like, and again, like you talk about stuff, like Rob, like as we seen, like, oh well, his stuff has such and such vertical movement, it has such and such horizontal break, and all these different things that they talk about. Try doing that with dead arm. Try doing that when you're like pitching on 3 days rest, right? That stuff looks a little bit different. So you can't just necessarily rely on stuff to be able to get you through on this because that's just not how it works. You got to know really, really how to pitch, and I think that's something that we're gonna see with Garrett Crochet, right? Is like, hey, what do you do when it's like you can't outstuff somebody, and now you're just going to have to locate when you're tired, right?
right. On the biggest stage of your life.
Stage of your life.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting. No, the Mets, and I'm gonna say like I'm in agreement. It's like all they say the same thing. But look, the Mets again, like this is what they deserve, right? You could say Manaea's year last year was a one-off. You know, all of a sudden think you're in a pitch like Chris Sale, and it's like, oh, that became the story. Hey, I'm gonna just change my motion at such and such. Okay, let's see how long that lasts. It seems like it's sort of a short-term fix, right? If you never thrown like that in your life. And then you come back, he has a shoulder issue, hasn't been able to get right. Frankie Montas was the guy that got hurt for them, fine. They went to, but the one that offends me the most is the Clay Holmes move. Because that's when we're like, okay, we're trying to reinvent something here. This guy's never been a starter. Not that Garrett Crochet never been a starter, because clearly you eased Garrett Crochet into it. They came and said, no, he has no limitations. We believe he can do it because of X, Y, and Z. He starts pitching. He's pitching well in the beginning of his first 5, 6 starts. But like the stuff starts to diminish a little bit.
Ooh.
And talking about piggybacking him in the playoffs. And you have Mets fans saying why this would work. And I'm like, it won't work. Because one of those guys is going to blow up. And then your whole entire thing gets thrown out of order. So
He pitched opening day, right? Clay Holmes did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that says it all. It's like, if you want to try, you give it a whirl, kind of like what the Giants did with Jordan Hicks, honestly. Give it a whirl. Okay, you're overpaid for the guy. Didn't work out. But Jordan Hicks was like their 4th starter.
Yeah.
Last year. Clay Holmes was their opening day starter.
Oh.
And you know, and I can't, and for anybody who says, I don't know what these front offices would say about, oh, well, you know, we were just we were angling to call up these kids in August and September. Well, if that's your plan, God bless you, because I don't believe it.
No,
I think all of this was like plan D for these teams.
it can't be your plan because
No.
then it tells me that you're not. Then that means that you're not gun ho on winning. Again, Rob, as I've always said, I truly believe these guys rather be right than win. A lot of them. Yeah, I think they'd rather be right on a specific guy being good than win. I really think the Anthony Volpe situation with with the Yankees and Volpe is in part because the front office is trying so hard to be right about something. And it's okay if you get something wrong. It's okay if you're Christian Campbell and send him down. They might have sent Christian Campbell down. Well, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. But they might have sent him down at like 2 weeks too late, right? Like those are those are very, very sensitive things, right? You're throwing that guy in the middle of Yankee Stadium struggling. I know you have the home run off of Carlos Rodon, but I'm saying all I'm saying is if they were right about that, they would have taken so much pride in that. And if they didn't make the playoffs, we have an emerging core that has been proven this year. And because of X, Y, and Z, because of Christian Campbell. They're more invested in Christian Campbell's success, and when I say success from an ego standpoint, than say a Roman Anthony, because Roman Anthony was supposed to be there, right? You could see from the first day he got there, it was like, this guy has it. Christian Campbell sort of had to be built a little bit. He had to be in their lab, their swing lab, all these things. Roman Anthony had it anyway. So again, I think teams want to be, and I'm not saying this about the Red Sox, but I'm saying this about the game in itself.
Right? No, I agree with you.
Is that I believe there's a unbeknownst to even their own emotions that I don't think they really understand.
Well, it's because Julian, I'm going to tell you a piece of it why this is happening, and it's a great observation by you. Your brain's never been hotter.
Okay.
It's because think about how many people they have in the analytics departments. Think about how much information they have. Think about how many coaches they have. They have all of this when they're making these decisions. So they have all of this. So when they make these decisions, they do the decisions with tubs of information, tubs of analytics. So when it doesn't work out, they'll say, well, no, this will work out. This will work out. This will work out because we have all this analytics and this information. Yet, maybe what's not in that tub of information is how that guy can handle being playing in a stadium in a third deck or whatever it is. Something that is not evident. But the reason why they're so hesitant to pull the cord is because they have convinced themselves more than ever. They have convinced themselves that they are right because not only do they feel like they're right, they feel like they're right because they feel like they have this tangible evidence that is going to prove that they're right. It's like, hey, you know what? It's gonna even off. We have all these one-run losses. It's gonna even off. Well, right. No, you know why it evens off? Because all of a sudden you start saying to everybody, start making contact instead of swinging for the fences all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're right.
And then you look up like Toronto and like, well, how are they winning? I don't see it. What's going on here? Like, what? I mean, first off, they have a really good, they have some really good players, I think, that have become underrated. I think Vlad has been is sort of an underrated talent at this point. I think there's more in the tank, but I also think he's an underrated guy. But I'm just saying that I'm just saying that all to say they have ball players, right? Like before Bo Bichette went on the IL, he's one of the guys I enjoy seeing hitting the most, right? You see when he gets to the 2 strikes, he doesn't take a step. He doesn't have that huge load. He doesn't have the leg lift. He keeps his front foot planted because he's trying to put the ball in play. And I think that's something that we've lost in this game of putting the ball. I was just texting Ian. I was like, I hate watching Brandon Lau play, like the short second baseman. It's just not my cup of tea. He just homered, but it's like 2 at bats ago he struck out, and the at bat before that he homered, then he struck out, and it's like it's only one way to skin a cat, and when that's not there, what do you do? Like, what are the Yankees going to do when they get to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
like because that's another team where it seemed like if they don't hit a home run, it's
No.
not that they don't win. It's just that their whole entire like they look confused. Like it's like oh, like a baby being able to walk for the first time. It's like whoa, what's going on here? Like their entire thing is thrown off unless they hit a home run somewhere. And it's like, what do you do when it's not there? What do you do when you don't have that spark? Okay, I got to short up and put the ball in play. All the best, better hitters did it. All of them.
Well, and the funny thing is, every postseason, this happens. Every postseason in the World Series, you see teams they put the ball in play, and everyone in baseball says, "Look at that's how you win. That's how you win in the postseason." And then all of a sudden, that goes out the window. And then you build a team and they hit a lot of home runs or they do whatever, and they have a good record, they make it the postseason. But tell me the last team. Actually, I should look this up. The last team that was a swing and miss team that did really well.
Oh, in the postseason, I
I mean,
think
I look at I'll look it up, but
no,
it's important. It's if nothing else, you can have a couple of those guys, but you better have a whole lot of guys who can put the ball in play.
no.
Well,
I think even leading up to like 2022, I did a check on like the contact rate and I guess whenever the Houston Nationals won their last World Series, 2022. So I did like a check on contact percentage and teams that won the World Series. Majority of them were in the top of the league in contact percentage.
yeah, look at you. See, that's why you're the best.
Yeah, no, yeah, I did that. I'm not
Look at
me.
you, like yeah, I did that. Put that in your LinkedIn page.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing is we've been focusing on the negative. Let's focus. The Atlanta Braves are out of it. I need you to pick the team, or if you want to pick two teams that you feel the best about. The best about right now.
Hmm.
The absolute best.
You know what?
Which, by the way, whatever team you pick, I apologize to the fan base because they'll be probably eliminated within a week and a half.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Just the way Seattle Mariners are playing right now, I probably put and I'm so wishy-washy on them. This is a team I can't figure out. They haven't pitched well this year, and they're still in prime to win this pillow fight. So they've been playing really well. And look, again, like I pride myself on pitching. And if you have the guys, you have George Kirby. I know he's having the best year. You have Logan Gilbert, you have Luis um, Castillo, Luis, you have Castillo. Like you have all those guys. Like I would bet on those guys in the postseason, even if they didn't have a great regular season, right? Just because of they've proven and shown it.
And by the way, your good friend Adam Ottavino, I asked him, I said, pick five guys you think will make their mark in the postseason and basically take their brand to the next level. He put Brian Wu as number one.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Brian Wu. That's a guy.
Yeah.
He's been like incredible. So like yeah, again, I think in specifically like in short series, like if they win that like the division and they don't have to get into that scary short wild card game and you get this team into an actual series with that pitching staff, I believe they're going to be really really tough to beat. And you know, again, Eugenio Suarez thing hasn't been that great, but again, he went out and made the move, right? He
Mm-hmm.
went out and made the move. He went out and did what he had to do. He went out and made the Josh Naylor move. Like those are the things that you have to do, I think, to be a winning ball club. And a lot of teams aren't trying to do it. So that's my pick in the American League.
That's a good one. You got one in the National League?
Yeah, but I mean it might be obvious. It may be the team that
The
you
Phillies?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me pick another one then. Uh,
You know what?
I'll pick another one just to
Just,
look.
yeah.
Look, again, I know they have not been playing great as of
The
late.
Dodgers.
No, the Padres.
Padres.
I think the Dodgers are still better than the Padres, right? I feel good about them. But what I'm saying about feel good about these guys is that I'm saying that one, I think they still have a chance to do something, especially if the Dodgers get into a one-game playoff against the Phillies against the Mets or Cincinnati. That can end really quickly, right? With like Hunter Green on the mound doing what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Those things are scary when you get into
Yeah.
So if the Padres get there and they don't have Big Brother there all of a sudden, and the Dodgers somehow have to lose their wild card series, but the Padres win theirs, I think there's a very good chance that the Padres could win because I feel like that's the only team that has their number and they have the actual talent on the baseball field. So yeah, I would still pick the Dodgers, obviously, as I said my last time I was on this podcast. But I mean, truly feel good about what the Padres have done.
Okay. I look forward to seeing you in San Diego.
Okay.
When's the last time you went to San Diego?
Xander.
Ooh.
Xander's first 2022.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
22.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yep.
When
All
I whose door did I knock on the window? I was like, how do we get out of here?
Oh, Josh Hader.
Josh Hader.
That's where we knew he was a nice guy.
I was like, ding, ding, ding.
He's like,
how do we get out of here? He's like, oh.
He's like, he showed us how to get out of the garage. We would have been locked in all night.
Exactly.
Yeah. What city are you? Because now you're a national reporter. You're a big deal.
Huh?
Give me your, forget about teams. Give me your ideal World Series.
Ooh.
Your World Series. Where you to go.
Like just to
travel, destination, hotels.
Hey, yep.
Wh-
Toronto and the Padres.
Oh, really? You don't mind flying back and forth?
No, you said just to go.
I know, but I'm talking a factor in everything.
Oh, okay.
No, that's fine. You can do that. It's good.
No,
I mean, those are two of my favorite cities. I'm with you.
Toronto and Mets.
Okay. All right.
That's easy travel.
You know what?
What did we say? Dodgers?
No, I thought you were going to say Boston. I'm like, everyone needs it's some good hotel room time.
No, this is my hotel. I can't get away.
The
point of a World Series is to be at two places where you can just get away at both those places, not at home and get away.
I know. That's the point.
Yeah.
I get that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. We solved a lot of the world's problems. Thank you.
All right.